Alexander Romanov got a little lucky this week. Tanner Boser had to pull out, a fellow Canadian brother. Just been getting injured. He's had some injury issues in the past. Try to fight through them, and this one just wasn't a go. But lucky enough, Chase Sherman stepped to the plate. He ends up re-signing with the UFC after losing 3 straight, and steps up to face Romanov, the undefeated heavyweight in the UFC, who also has that Juan Espino fight under his belt that probably had a lot of people just not feeling so hot about him. But I like the guy. And the reason why I say that is because I think he's got just a fun-loving attitude. I think he's a killer in there. His body structure does not denote how much of an athlete he really is. And the reason you can say that is his timing on the takedowns and his ability to strike. This guy's throwing up head kicks on the regular. He's got, like I have to repeat myself, but the timing of his takedowns is by far my favorite part of his game. He manhandled Jared Vanderaa. And the thing about Vanderaa is we've seen him kind of stay in a lot of fights lately. And so he's earned a bit of his keep in the UFC. But then the Romanov fight it was brutal for him. And the thing about Vanderaa is everyone talked about how, the wrestler-style grapplers who put him on his back are usually the ones that have the most success with him. And that's exactly what Romanov did. And, he's had really great success across the board in the UFC outside of that Espino fight with the takedowns and the grappling and really good submission work. Now, for Sherman, over the course of his much, much, much lengthier UFC career, still a 77% takedown defense. And his last UFC fight was actually submission loss, which was still his first one. The thing about King Kong that I love, though, is he's going to push forward. He's going to push the pace. He has to watch out for the striking. Chase Sherman, if there's one thing you want to give him credit on, is the boxing. He's a bare-knuckle veteran. He's coming back to the UFC. He's been in some really good striking battles. Jake Collier actually caught him clean and then is the one that submitted him. So for me, it's like he's got a relatively good chin, but he's got good boxing on him. And for Romanov, I think it's just about staying technical. Pull a Bilal Muhammad. Who cares if people hate you? Avoid the striking game of Chase Sherman because it's the only area where he might be able to truly outclass you. And then see how good his clinch game is. See how good he can defend your trips, your throws, and your wrestling, takedowns. I think that's the area where I just want to see not only Chase Sherman get tested, but Romanov really exploit him. Push into your strengths. I don't want to see him fall into a place just for his own sake where, Espino was relatively good at the takedown defense and was able to just really pick him apart on the feet, which opened the door to a little bit of what some consider some funny business. So, in this case, I think Romanov by submission is a pretty live line there. And I've already, just before this, because I did have my live line, I did have my current guess the line. I can't find this line yet. So, my line for Romanov is minus 190, but I can see that being much higher. Just the fact that Chase Sherman's on a 3-fight losing streak. He's coming in on short notice. There's just a little bit more working against him, and so it could be higher. But, the thing about Romanov is he's got one of those longevity-style games at heavyweight, right? Really good timing on those takedowns. I'm third time I said it. And the striking is there in terms of keeping strikers at bay. And what I mean by that is if you look at the way he utilized the head kick in his previous fight, very, very good example, right? I don't think he's going to be the crispest boxer or the best striker and putting together the best combos, but his striking allows him to not only keep bigger strikers at bay, but then set up his timing for when he can take those takedowns to the ground as fighters push back in on him. So I really like what I see from him. I've been talking about him quite a bit. When we used to do the Prospect Watch videos, he was number 1 on one of them, and he hasn't let up since. So for me, like I said, we're going to guess the line of minus 190. Unfortunately, I can't check it yet, but we will down the line see how good we did. But Alexander Romanov, I think, is the pick here. Just, with Chase Sherman coming in on short notice, he's going to get his bank. But, yeah, I think Romanov looks really hungry. And, not only does he look in better shape right now, based on his Instagram account, but I think that Vanderaa fight really just maybe gave him a bit more confidence and allowed him to start working on his game again. And I'm not saying Vanderaa, ground and pound wins are, the elite of the elite, but sometimes you just need that notch on your belt to get you back into like a mentality of a killer. And I think that's what was kind of missing from that Espino fight, but then we've seen him gain it back. So that should be a really fun fight, guys. I think that Romanov is very much a fighter that we're seeing on the rise. And, with a big win against a veteran like Chase Sherman, it should put him in that, bigger name realm at the heavyweight division if he gets that dub.